So we do the shock absorbers now, and the shock absorbers, they come pre-made, and they look quite nice actually, quite snazzy. So what I did with these is just made sure that they had enough oil inside the shock absorbers. So you just take the bottom collar off, take the main spring off and the top collar, and you just undo the top like so, and I just made sure there was enough oil inside here. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this out. And once you've got the oil in place, so as you can see here, the oil's nicely topped up. It's nicely topped up to the top of the piston there. So you pop the cap back on, just catch the threads correctly, screw down nicely. There we go. There we are. Make sure it's nice and tight, like so. There we are, nice and tight. You then pop on the top collar, with the little collar piece facing down. Pop on the spring, back over the top, give it a little pull back, pop the bottom collar over the bottom, and then hook the spring, and there you have your nice shock absorber ready to roll. Right, so just had to top it up with a little bit of the oil, and I had some oils left. Luckily for me, this was some Core RC 300 weight oil. I'll see how we get on, see how it's how it handles. I might get some slightly lighter weight oil, I think, because that's quite thick, so we'll see. But anyway, that's the suspension bits done. We can now move on to the suspension arms front and suspension arms rear. Right, we turn our attention now to the front and rear suspension arms, and we need some components again from our components parts. We need the 1230197, which are these. So you get two of these, so one for the front and one for the rear of the suspension arm systems. We also need 1230196, so we need these parts here. So you get four of those. So yep, two each for the front and rear. You need 1230212, which are the little E-rings. So you get those, you get four of those. You also need 1230288. So you get two in there. So there you go. You also need 1230310. I'm kind of looking at the 310, and then I'm looking at the rear ones at the same time. It says 310 also for the rear ones, but actually, in fact, if you look carefully on these, again, we'll get them out and show you what to do, but there's a F on the 310s and a R on the 311s. So you've got the fronts and the rears. A little different there from the drawing. So we'll do the front ones first and see how we get on. So just be careful with these parts here. These are the 1230196. There is in fact a left and a right version of these, so that you can put these into the suspension arms. So you need one of each of these, one, it's like a pair in effect. So you need to, because you see this edge here and this notch here, they are literally mirror. So yeah, you need to make sure you pair them up, so you get them paired for your top and your bottom ones that you're going to use. So little tip there. And with the arms, I mean, the arms are not exactly as pictured, the 1230310. So I'm kind of using this elongated one here as this as my reference point as well. So we then need to pop our hub axles that we built, our front hub axles. We need to put these also into the arms. So yeah, let's do one and show you how it's done. So I'm going to try and get this on camera for you, popping these axle arms onto the suspension arm. I've done one on the left hand side. Bit of a tricky step this actually. So you put the E-clip in the shaft here first of all, then you follow the drawing going through this front section, pop it through, and I found with this side I had to squeeze it with the pliers a little bit, but here I could see it actually sticks out better. So one of the shafts was a bit short, I think, which gave me a little bit of difficulty getting this E-clip in. This one looks to be a bit different now. This one works okay actually. So yeah, so one of these ones on here, this was a bit short, this shaft, so I had a bit of tricky getting this E-clip in. But I've managed to squeeze it through. So anyway, that's the two arms that you've got either side. And then you take the 123096 part, and again, I'm sort of kind of trying to reference this up to the drawing. You've got this longer section here. I'm taking that as the front, and this is facing up with this little notch at the bottom. So you pop that into each side of your wishbone arms, the lower arms, like so, and then you take your 123097 and you pop that through the arm there, like so, and again like so. So you now have the front arms in place. So there we go. So that is the front arms. We should now do the rear arms. So similar fashion to our front arms, we need our 1230 well, in this case, it should be the 1230 and you see that because it's got an R denoted on the arm there, so it's the rear. So we're going to need our rear ones. So a slight difference from the drawing, they've labelled it as a 1230 whereas on the drawing it's a 310, so slight deviation there. But anyway, they've corrected that with the R on the rear arms. We need our 1230 our shafts, which is slightly different shafts to the 288 from the front. These are the rear ones. We need our 1230 which is our rod that goes through the front. We need our rear axles that we made. We need our 1230 our pair. Remember, these are the pair, and I've orientated those already to the drawing. So you've got the little stud at the bottom, either side, and the longer bit here, And we need our 1230 We need some 4mm. These are the grub screws, so we need a couple of those. So rather than using E-clips, you're using a grub screw on the rear. So we shall get those out ready. So we've got those, so we don't lose them. So they're on my board. There we go. Right, I'll put that back in the area there, so it's not going to go anywhere. So let's assemble this part. Okay, so doing these rear hard carriers, it's again a little bit of guesswork here. So if you look at the way the drawing is here, it talks about this being with the stub axle pointing inwards. That doesn't make any sense, because if you look at the drawing down where the suspension is going to be sitting on top of it, you've got this longer gap area here, which is this longer gap here to the front with the pin going in for the front, and you need to mount the bottom of the shock absorber into one of these two holes. So you've got the two holes, so these can't go with the spindle axle inwards on this side. So I've actually mounted them this way round so that they are right and left on the actual axles, but just slightly different on the way it's drawing. So you get the pin, and you pop the pin through, and there's a little area of recess here, which is where the grub screw is going to catch in a moment. So we just put that into place, and my favourite saying from Ronnie Barker of the days of open all hours is jiggle it into place. Then you take your grub screw, your 4mm grub screw. I've got one of these, Allen drivers. So, and then you just screw that through, self-tapping in. So just again, don't go too mad screwing this in. You just want to make sure that it stops onto the shaft. There we go, like that. So the idea is the shaft cannot be pushed out. So you can see it can't be pushed out. So there you go, just nip that up. So there you are. So that now sits in that way round. So we now have it with the orientation, again, taking the smaller at this end. We then take these little ends and we pop those into place like so there. And again, I'm referencing the longer of the two facing forwards. Hope I'm right. And then you take the actual pin that goes through and you pop that through, much the same as you did with the front section ones. There we go. And the same again here. And you do that through the hole, jiggle it into place. There we go. So now we have the rear arms in place. We can now move on to mounting the shock absorbers. So to mount our shock absorbers into the front and rear arms of the shocked mounts, we need to position the pins 1, 2, 3, 0, 3, 6, 9 for the front and the rears. So fronts and the rears. We need to position these into place on these longer areas, and we need to take the inner hole. So on there, so you got two holes here, and we need to put on the inner hole, and we need to then screw. These are like a long grub screw, so there's 4 of them, so reach the shocks. So take those out, like so. And we'll take our Allen driver that we had before, because these have, in the end, I don't know if it's going to pick out on the camera, but I should certainly try. These have a Allen driver here, so pop that through with your Allen driver, like so. Okay, so like that. So there we are, that's the grub screw in place there. It's just pushed through, and the grub screw actually is literally goes across the pin there. So I'm going to try and demonstrate that by you have to excuse my fat fingers. It literally goes across. So I countersunk it in about halfway through, because we want to make sure it's bitten all the way through into the other side. So that's the front one's done. Now we do the same for the rear. Just bring those forward, take our shock absorber, and again we're going on the inside of the pins. So if we can capture this, so capture that like that. So we take our grub screw, goes through, and then we take our Allen driver and we capture the hole at the other side. There we go. And again, about halfway, because the idea is when you put the grub screw in, about halfway across, it bites into the other side. Okay, so that's that side in, and we do the same again on this side. So just pop that through, line up the holes, put that grub screw through, collect our hole, and there we go. About halfway, so you can see I've just kind of sunk that about halfway through the material, so it should bite, and then that'd be enough to, there we are. So that is now the front and rear. So these are the rears, there we go, front and rear, the shocks are now mounted.